I'm here with Frank. We've just witnessed what I would say is Arsenal's worst performance of the season. And I've got to be honest, Frank, I'm struggling with words, so you'll have to help me out with this one. But basically, Arsenal have gone down 1-0 at home to West Ham today in an absolutely terrible performance. But listen, bro, I think you're going to be better at this than me on this occasion. Your thoughts?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. Absolutely, by far. And obviously, I'm taking into consideration that Leicester game. Obviously, we won that game, but the performance was nowhere near where it needed to be. By far, not only the worst performance of the season, but the worst performance I've seen from Arsenal in quite a while now. I think I'd potentially even go back to when they beat us at home last season. You know, we're going back that far, and that's nearly a year ago now. So it's been a long time since I've seen that level of, I don't even want to say mediocrity, because it's not even mediocre. It's just, it was poor today. And I think that starts from when you see that starting 11. You know, I think a lot of eyebrows were raised at the fact that Miles Lewis-Skelly wasn't included in the starting 11. I'm not blaming this performance just on that, but you know, if it's not broken, do not fix it. Why was Miles Lewis-Skelly not in the starting 11 today? Obviously, I know he got the red card in the end, and I don't want to try and defend him in any way as much as I want to. It's not like he's been given a bad ball and then he's had to make a last-ditch challenge. He puts himself in that situation and has to make that challenge. So, you know, you can't help him there, but I still believe he should have started. If we're looking at individual performances as well, the man that's supposed to be the captain of this football club, Martin Ødegaard, was almost a sorry excuse for a professional footballer today. I know we're ravaged with injuries at the moment, but I think that Arteta needs to make a statement at this point and look at dropping Martin Ødegaard. There's definitely routes that we can go down. If you take Martin Ødegaard out of the team, you can put Trossard in there. Hell, you can even put Ethan Nwaneri in there and then just bring in someone like a Raheem Sterling into that front three. It can be done. We've seen it work with Gabriel Martinelli in the past. You take him out of the lineup because he's not in a fantastic run of form, and then I think that sort of triggers something in the brain of most professional footballers. Right, I was starting, I'm not starting now, I need to fix up my business. And I think that wake-up call is exactly what Martin Ødegaard needs at the moment, because this is not the Martin Ødegaard that I know and love.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the Martin Ødegaard we know and love, but I'm a little bit sort of reticent to put all the blame on him. I don't want to scapegoat him, and I'll tell you why. Because today, I'm struggling to come up with any Arsenal player that had a good game.
I'll give you one.
I don't think anyone had a good game in an Arsenal shirt today.
I think the only person that can walk out of that game with his head held high in some context is Thomas Partey, because he's the only one throughout the game that I didn't see any sort of shakiness from. You know, you look at the midfield, Declan Rice, probably the worst performance I've seen from him in an Arsenal shirt today. Same for Martin Ødegaard, but Thomas Partey seemed to be the only thing keeping that midfield free. You know, from everyone getting subbed off at that point. I think he's the only one that can come out of this game with some form of credit. But yeah, no, I agree. It's not just Ødegaard. It goes down to, you know, it's everyone, like you say.
Should we, be fair and give some credit to West Ham, because I thought they came here with a game plan. Graham Potter has actually got a good record against Arsenal.
Yep.
And today he set the team out well. They defended well. When they broke, they looked good. Kudos, Wan-Bissaka, Jared Bowen. They had a couple of guys who had really good games. Yep. And let's face it, they deserved the win. So, yeah, should we also be fair to West Ham and say, look, they did their homework, they got their tactics right, and they deserved the win?
Absolutely. You mentioned the point about Graham Potter. He's won, I think, 3 of his 4 games at the Emirates. Only Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola have won more at the Emirates in the current form, in the current range of managers, and that's, you know, it's an achievement in itself to be mentioned with those names. You know, Pep Guardiola is a man that's won Champions League. He's a man that's won 4 Premier League titles in a row. Jurgen Klopp's a Champions League winner. Jurgen Klopp's a Premier League winner. So it's a fantastic place to be in the company with those two in terms of those types of stats. West Ham, I'll give them full credit. They played fantastically, and it's not like this is a West Ham team that's fighting relegation. This is a West Ham team, for me, who had really nothing to play for today. I know
you say that, but they've been on a poor run of form.
They have, absolutely.
They've been on a poor run of form.
And do you see the problem that I have now? Because I think they've won, one game under Graham Potter? Yeah. Why does this...
One game, 1 draw and 4 defeats coming into this game.
Why does these things seem to always happen to Arsenal when these teams are not on these good run of forms, and they come to the Emirates or we go to them, and all of a sudden, 3 points, or we go to an Everton, or we get a point or something like that. It's really frustrating, and you know how confident I like to be. We've failed to capitalise on the fact, once again, that Liverpool have dropped points. I'm hoping and praying that Manchester City can get a result against them tomorrow, because that's, for me, as much as I say we're still in the title race, the only way I can see that continuing to happen is if Liverpool continue to drop points. That was our last chance. That was the game call. We've lost one more game. Now we need to win every single game. Otherwise, we've got no chance, Laurie, and it's just not good enough.
Yeah, I must say there was a feeling of inevitability about this game. I mean, it's interesting because I'd made the comment that for large swathes of this game, if we're being brutally honest as Arsenal fans, it wasn't that much better than when we played Leicester, who are infinitely a worse team than West Ham. The difference being is, one, we got the goals through Mourinho, that shock value, him coming on, got them. And also, perhaps more importantly, we were playing a much better team today with players of the quality of Kudos, Wan-Bissaka, Jared Bowen, who could hurt us. Maybe that was a difference because, let's be honest, the performance last week wasn't that much better either.
Absolutely. And you mentioned some of those players, Jared Bowen, Mohamed Kudus. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but how was we supposed to compete today with a 16th place West Ham with Mikel Merino up top? Now, obviously, I know he got the 2 goals in the last game against Leicester, but let's be honest, it was Leicester City, a team that are 99% going down this season, the team that we absolutely should be winning. He saved the day then, but we can't be going into games in the Premier League when we're fighting for the title with a central midfielder up top. Evan Ferguson came off the bench for West Ham today. Why was we not looking at an Evan Ferguson? Randall Kolo Muani went to Juventus. Why was we not looking at a Kolo Muani? It once again comes down to, and again, I've been a massive fan of Arteta. I love what he's done for this football club in terms of bringing us back to the stage we need to be at, challenging for titles and back in the Champions League. But some of the transfer decisions, and I know it's not just him, but he's the manager of the football club. He will sign off all of these signings and stuff like that. He will go and identify players himself as well. We do not have a striker, a recognised striker in this team, and we're supposed to be challenging for a title. How is that sustainable? The answer is it's not, and it's just not good enough once again.
No, I agree. I think this could be the day when everything sort of caught up with us. I mean, like I said, the performance against Leicester wasn't that much better. I think the difference, like I said, is with Mourinho's 2 goals and the fact that Leicester, let's be honest, they're not a good team. I mean, they got smoked at home yesterday by Brentford 4-0. Brentford put them away easier than what we did, so maybe there's something in that as well. But listen, it's very hard to find any optimism moving forward, but we do have a game coming up in the week. It is another big game. We do need to win it. I mean, I know our title aspirations seem to be disappearing down the toilet fast, but is there anything you would do as a manager in terms of personnel changes? We saw Ben White come on, saw Raheem Sterling come on. Is there anything you would do to change things ahead of Wednesday's game against Forest?
Well, obviously I wanted to say put Miles Lewis-Skelly in the team, but he's not going to be available on Wednesday now, which is annoying. Thankfully, he'll be available for the Champions League against PSV. So he has to put... I potentially would probably say, put Ben White back at right back now, and then put Yuri and Timber on that left-hand side, because Calafiori can't get away with a performance like that after today. And then, like I said it a moment ago, I think you have to make a statement and take Martin Odegaard out of the team at the moment. Like I said, just bring Trossard.
That's a big call.
It's a big call, but I think sometimes you need to make these big calls to give these players the wake-up call that Martin Odegaard absolutely needs at the moment, because it's not.
So who captains for you against Forest?
Who captains? Yeah. Probably Thomas Partey. Has to be. But Martin Odegaard out, bring Trossard into that midfield, and I reluctantly say this because we've got no options, but you have to bring Raheem Sterling on in that left-hand side as well.
Would you persist with Mourinho up top? How do you think he did today, by the way?
I think he did what he could. He's not a striker. He done the best he could. I think everyone sort of got a little bit hyped over the fact that he obviously came off the bench and got those 2 goals today. But I'm not expecting 30 goals a season from Mikel Merino now. Let's calm down a little bit. He done what he needed to do the other day. I wasn't expecting a 5-star performance from him today, but he didn't do anything bad. He played like a player that was playing out of position. There's not really much else I can say on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Listen, it's been a very poor day all round. And I must admit, I do have a little bit of empathy for the manager. I was looking at him after the game ended, and he looked absolutely crestfallen. And I just hope that today isn't the day when everything just goes totally wrong for the rest of the season. So try and give us some words of encouragement as we move forward. Because listen, there's still a lot of games left. We're still in the two competitions, regardless of what happened today. We're still in it. But give us some words of comfort. Give us some words of optimism, if you can, Frank.
Well, the words of confidence that I need to give is it's not mathematically over. We've been 8 points clear and not won the league. I'm sure Liverpool have been 8 points clear once upon a time and not won the league. I think there was the season that Gerrard slipped. Yeah. It's not mathematically over. No one in this team should be thinking that it's over, because if that's the mindset that we've got of players in Arsenal Football Club, I don't want them at Arsenal anymore. It's as simple as that. It's not over. Do not act like it is. Simple as.
Well said, Frank. Thank you very much, mate. Cheers.